Today's thought is for August the 7th, based upon the readings 1 Kings chapter 1, Jeremiah 28 and Mark chapter 2. The theme for the thought is when Jesus saw their faith. Today we have the account of the miracle of Jesus that we tend to remember most. Jesus had now become so sought after that it was sometimes difficult to see and hear him. There is a paralysed man who lay on a bed that 4 friends carried, but it was impossible for them to bring him anywhere near to Jesus. Because of the crowd, they removed the roof from above him, and when they had made an opening, they let down the bed. Mark 2 verse 4. Then comes a very interesting statement, and when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "My son, your sins are forgiven." And he is told to rise, pick up your bed and go home. This is not saying that the paralytic had no faith, but Jesus was conscious of how much faith the other 4 had in all their efforts that they went to. They had supreme faith in what Jesus could do. This causes us to reflect on the power of prayer and actions that are done in faith on behalf of others. Jeremiah had become such a person, but 3 times the Lord tells him, "As for you, do not pray for this people or lift up a cry or prayer for them, and do not intercede with me." The Lord did not want to be influenced by his prayers. Now that clearly shows that when a righteous person prays, God hears and hearkens. James in his epistle states, "Pray for one another that you may be healed." The prayer of a righteous person has great power in its working. David had a heart-stirring observation in Psalm 34. The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears towards their cry. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears. Psalm 34 verse 15 to 17. Did you notice in Romans 1 we read last week how Paul wrote that God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers, asking that somehow by God's will I may now at last succeed in coming to you. Interesting phrase, somehow by God's will. That is a phrase we can and should use in our personal prayers and in our prayers on behalf of others. This is what Jesus said in his prayers in the Garden of Gethsemane. James made that point. You ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will do this or that. May the Lord see our faith go from strength to strength. It is trials that cause this to happen. Peter observed, if necessary, grieved by various trials, so that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold that perishes, may be found to result in praise and glory and honour at the revelation of Jesus Christ.
Come to me.
To read this thought online or to view and purchase other Christadelphian literature, please come to www.thechristadelphian.com.